The dilemma for people who preach on any given day: what shall I focus on? The first reading, the gospel, the psalm, Paul? Shall I talk about the saint of the day, the liturgical season, or the signs of the times? What is going on in your world and mine, and what does it have to do with Jesus? If you listen to these homilies and reflections regularly, you know what a variety there is. Where is the Spirit leading me and you? It is a rich dilemma. Today, the first reading is among our favorites, especially in Ignatian circles. It doesn't need to be repeated. Just read it slowly for yourself. The saint of the day, Martin de Porres, who Pope John XXIII named patron of all who work for justice, is worth lots of reflection. Also, this is the beginning of the awesome season of the Eschaton, when we remember all who have died, those we have known and loved, and those we have admired. Certainly there is at least a month's worth to fill our prayer. And then another gospel about a banquet, urging us to include everyone, especially those society considers poor, blind, and lame in any way, both literally and metaphorically. But then there are the signs of the times. What is going on in your world and mine? And what does it have to do with our faith, with Jesus, with God's love? In one sense, no matter when you are listening to me, Election Day, in its new, complicated, extended form, is mostly over. Many of us have followed it exhaustively, stressfully, even fearfully. What we need to do now is focus on what the days and weeks ahead have to do with our faith, with Jesus, with God's love. And it does have to do with that banquet, after all, the one to which everyone is invited. Some of you will have made the October retreat, Speak the Truth in Love. Whether you did or didn't, the succession of themes and graces for the week is a guide to the weeks ahead. And I offer them to you now, a product of the work of the retreat team, and a gift to all of us to reflect on in the weeks ahead, and to let us ask God to shower them graciously upon us all. First, that I may deepen my belief that I am made in God's image, a God of goodness, beauty, truth, and loving kindness. Then to discover God's image in the face of all humankind, friends, family, and strangers, regardless of their political persuasion. And so I am called to conversion, called to become more like Christ each day, called to love my neighbor as Jesus has loved me, a risky love indeed. Finally, to speak the truth in love, with courage and humility, with the voice of Christ for justice, reconciliation, peace, and inclusivity. Like the host of the banquet, God is infinitely generous, with a generosity which we cannot equal, but which we can imitate to the best of our ability. In the days and weeks ahead, we are invited to live out our call to love as Jesus loves, in how we act and how we speak, whoever wins this election. It doesn't mean we haven't cared passionately about the issues, about the candidates, about the future of our country. But the Buddha cautions us that when there are winners, there are always losers, and that the losers only want to win again. It is a cycle of violence. That is not what we are about. God calls us, each one of us, to break that cycle of violence with generous acts of justice, reconciliation, and peace as we speak our truth with love.